A new power struggle is erupting in the West Philippine Sea. It's November 12, 2025. A Philippine survey vessel, escorted by a U.S. destroyer, enters the contested Reed Bank. Their mission? Confirm the vast oil and gas reserves beneath the seabed, a direct challenge to Beijing's sweeping claims. Chinese Coast Guard ships shadow the convoy, their presence a stark warning. This is more than a resource dispute. It's a high-stakes geopolitical chess match. For the Philippines, it's a gamble for energy independence. For the U.S., a test of its Indo-Pacific commitments. For China, a challenge to its claimed maritime territory. The world watches, holding its breath. The Philippines, under new leadership, is done waiting. We have a sovereign right to explore our exclusive economic zone, declares Defense Secretary Teodoro. The U.S. warship signals Washington's willingness to back its ally, but also raises the risk of a direct superpower clash. Filipino, American, and Chinese crews now stand on the front lines of a struggle that could reshape Asia's future. The fragile peace of the region hangs in the balance. Will this bold move unlock prosperity for the Philippines, or ignite a conflict that draws in major powers? The world waits to see who will blink first. The stage is set for a confrontation that could redefine power in Asia. The West Philippine Sea is a geological treasure chest, hiding immense reserves of oil and natural gas. The U.S. Energy Information Administration estimates up to 11 billion barrels of oil and 190 trillion cubic feet of natural gas lie beneath these waters. For the Philippines, which imports nearly all its oil, these resources could mean true energy independence. The Malampaya gas field is running dry. Reed Bank is the nation's best hope to avoid an energy crisis. Control over these waters also means control over vital global shipping lanes. Dr. Maria Santos, energy expert. This isn't just about fuel, it's about sovereignty and the power to chart our own course. Royalties and taxes could fund infrastructure, education, and healthcare on an unprecedented scale. Yet, the Reed Bank sits within the Philippines' exclusive economic zone, but is also claimed by China under its 9-dash line. An international tribunal invalidated China's claim in 2016, but Beijing refuses to recognize the ruling. The resources remain untouched, a tantalizing prize just out of reach. The current standoff is a direct attempt to break the deadlock. The Philippines is risking everything to turn this potential into reality. The outcome could transform the nation's future. The U.S. presence in the West Philippine Sea is a calculated response to China's growing assertiveness. The U.S. destroyer escorting the Philippine vessel is a clear signal. America is drawing a line. It's about upholding the Mutual Defense Treaty and a free, open Indo-Pacific. We cannot allow a single country to rewrite the rules of the sea, says a senior State Department official. The U.S. is counterbalancing China's ambitions, ensuring smaller nations aren't left alone. The strategy combines military presence, diplomatic support, and capacity building for the Philippines. The goal: deter Chinese aggression without provoking all-out conflict. U.S. presence gives energy companies the confidence to invest despite the risks. It's a delicate balancing act, showing resolve without escalating tensions. The current escort mission is a defensive posture, protecting legitimate activity within a recognized EEZ. The U.S. bets that steady support will let the Philippines finally tap its resources. Each survey mission shifts the balance of power. The stakes are high, but so is the resolve. For ordinary Filipinos, the West Philippine Sea's riches could mean lower energy costs and new opportunities. An energy revolution promises cheaper electricity, affordable transport, and stable prices for families and businesses. Developing oil and gas would create tens of thousands of jobs, not just for engineers, but for entire communities. A new generation won't have to go abroad for work, says a Palawan community leader. They can build a future here. Royalties and taxes could fund hospitals, schools, and infrastructure across the archipelago. This is our chance to leapfrog into the future, says a government advisor. The vision of a prosperous, energy-independent Philippines unites the nation. For years, we were told the treasure was ours, but we couldn't touch it, says Rico, a Manila jeepney driver. Now, we are finally trying. The risks are real, but the alternative, staying poor forever, is unacceptable. China's claim to the West Philippine Sea is rooted in its 9-dash line, covering nearly 90% of the South China Sea. Despite a 2016 tribunal ruling against it, Beijing rejects the decision and enforces its claim with military might. Artificial islands, runways, and missile batteries now dot the region, projecting Chinese power. Chinese vessels routinely harass Filipino boats, using gray zone tactics to assert control without open conflict. For China, this is about nationalism, strategic security, and resource hunger. China's sovereignty in the South China Sea has a solid historical and legal basis, insists a foreign ministry spokesperson. This unyielding stance creates perpetual tension and risk. China's actions challenge the US-led post-war order, seeking to set new regional rules. Any Philippine attempt to develop resources is seen by Beijing as a direct affront, one it's prepared to meet with force. The Philippines' quest for energy is fraught with danger. Chinese military and Coast Guard pressure make every survey mission a high-risk gamble. Energy companies hesitate to invest, fearing blockades or attacks. The Philippine Navy and Coast Guard are outmatched, forcing reliance on the US alliance. The country lacks the capital and expertise for deep-water exploration, making foreign partnerships essential. Even with legal backing, enforcing rights is nearly impossible against China's might. Manila must be assertive, yet cautious. Provoking a conflict it can't win is not an option. Offshore exploration is expensive and uncertain. Geopolitical risk makes it even riskier. The Philippines must convince investors the reward is worth the extraordinary risk. The US-Philippine alliance is the cornerstone of Manila's new maritime strategy. The Mutual Defense Treaty now explicitly covers attacks in the South China Sea, a powerful deterrent to China. Joint military exercises have ramped up, focusing on maritime security and coastal defense. The Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement gives the U.S. access to key Philippine bases, boosting rapid response. The U.S. is funding and training the Philippine military, supplying patrol vessels and surveillance aircraft. Our aim is not to fight the Philippines' battles, but to help them defend their rights, says a U.S. advisor. This united front signals to Beijing the Philippines does not stand alone. The partnership combines Philippine resolve with American power, upholding international law. The sight of a U.S. destroyer escorting a Philippine vessel is the ultimate symbol of this renewed commitment. The Philippines isn't alone in facing China's claims. Vietnam and Malaysia offer valuable lessons. Vietnam resists fiercely, partnering with foreign companies and pushing back against Chinese harassment. Malaysia once preferred quiet diplomacy, but now protests more openly and continues energy exploration with naval support. Both nations show it's possible, though risky, to develop resources in contested waters. Their persistence normalizes their presence, forcing China to tolerate or escalate. The Philippines is now blending Vietnam's resistance with Malaysia's partnership approach, backed by its U.S. alliance. The lesson ceding ground emboldens China. Consistent, lawful presence is key. Manila's struggle is part of a broader regional fight for sovereignty. The urgency is real. Malampaya, the Philippines' main gas field, is running out. Without a new source, the nation faces blackouts and soaring energy prices. Reed Bank is the best hope, but developing it means confronting China. The government is racing against time, risking confrontation for the sake of energy security. The Philippine survey vessel, with its U.S. escort, presses on under the watchful eyes of the Chinese fleet. The situation is a powder keg. One misstep could spark conflict. Will the alliance hold? Will the Philippines succeed? Or will China's might force a retreat? Success could mean energy independence and a triumph for international law. Failure would embolden China and shrink options for smaller nations. For now, the ships remain on high alert as the fate of a nation and the region hangs in the balance.